You clumsy, pathetic little nobody. Marcus Whitmore's voice carried across the sudden silence, cold and deliberate. Do you have any idea what you've done? Emma's hands trembled as champagne dripped from her fingers onto her black serving uniform. The broken crystal glittered at her feet like accusations. Around them, 200 of San Francisco's elite stood frozen, their designer gowns and tailored tuxedos forming a perfect circle of judgment. I'm so sorry, Mr. Whitmore. I didn't mean to. Didn't mean to. His laugh was sharp enough to cut. Marcus Whitmore, golden boy of Silicon Valley, venture capitalist worth billions, stepped closer. At 42, he wore his power like a second skin. That was a 1959 Dom Perignon. $20,000. And you just... I'll pay for it. The words tumbled out before Emma could stop them. I'll work extra shifts. You? Marcus's perfectly sculpted features twisted with contempt. You make what? Minimum wage plus tips? It would take you 6 months to pay for what you destroyed in 6 seconds. Emma felt the heat crawling up her neck, spreading across her cheeks. She was 32 years old, a single mother working 3 jobs, and she'd been awake for 19 hours straight. The exhaustion made her bones ache, but it was the humiliation that really hurt. The way everyone was watching. The way Marcus Whitmore's date, a model half his age, covered her mouth to hide her smirk. Please, Emma whispered. My supervisor? Oh, I'll be speaking to your supervisor. Marcus brushed imaginary champagne droplets from his custom suit. In fact, I'll be speaking to the owner. I host a $10 million charity event here every year. Do you think they'll choose you over me? The truth sat heavy in Emma's chest. No, of course they wouldn't. That's enough. The voice came from behind her, low and dangerous, with an accent that suggested old money and older violence. Italian, maybe? Or Sicilian. Emma turned. The man standing there made Marcus Whitmore look like a boy playing dress-up. He was tall, well over 6 feet, with the kind of presence that bent gravity around him. His black suit probably cost more than Emma's car, perfectly tailored to shoulders, that suggested he knew his way around a fight. Dark hair swept back from a face all sharp angles and harder edges. But it was his eyes that made Emma's breath catch. Gray, cold, assessing everything in a single glance. He wasn't looking at her, though. He was looking at Marcus. Excuse me? Marcus sputtered. This is a private conversation. A conversation requires 2 willing participants. The stranger's English was perfect, but that faint accent curled around his words like smoke. This is a public humiliation. There's a difference. Do you know who I am? I know exactly who you are, Whitmore. The stranger took a step forward, and despite Marcus's height and expensive personal trainer, he suddenly looked small. The question is, do you know who I am? Something flickered across Marcus's face. Uncertainty. Then recognition. Then something that looked almost like fear. Mr. Moretti. Marcus's voice had lost its sharp edge. I didn't realize you were attending tonight. Moretti. Emma had heard that name before, whispered in certain circles, associated with shipping companies and real estate empires and things people didn't talk about in polite society. The Moretti family had been in San Francisco for 3 generations, their influence woven into the city's bones. Clearly, Dante Moretti's gaze finally shifted to Emma, and she felt pinned in place like a butterfly under glass. His expression didn't soften exactly, but something changed in those gray eyes. Are you hurt? Emma shook her head, not trusting her voice. The champagne was $20,000, Marcus said, recovering some of his bravado. She should go home. Dante pulled a money clip from his pocket, counted out bills without looking, and handed them to the catering manager who'd appeared at the edge of the crowd. That's $30,000, for the champagne and the young lady's time. Her shift is over. Mr. Moretti, that's not necessary, the manager started. I wasn't asking. Dante's tone didn't change, but the manager's face went pale. In fact, consider this her 2 weeks' notice. I'm sure you can find someone else to cover the rest of the evening. Emma's heart lurched. Wait, I need this job. I can't just... You start Monday. Dante finally looked directly at her, and Emma felt the impact of his full attention like a physical thing. My office, 9 a.m. Start what? Working for me? The ballroom had gone completely silent. Even Marcus seemed at a loss for words. I don't understand, Emma managed. You don't belong in this room serving drinks. Dante's eyes held hers, and there was something in them Emma couldn't quite read. Not pity, something else. But you do belong in this room. Monday, 9 a.m., the Moretti building downtown. Don't be late. He turned to Marcus. As for you, Whitmore, if I hear you've caused any problems for this young woman or her employment record, you'll find your next funding round very difficult to close. Do we understand each other? Marcus's jaw worked, but he nodded. Dante gave Emma one last look, assessing, calculating, seeing something she didn't know she was showing, and then he was gone, cutting through the crowd like a shark through still water. People stepped aside without seeming to realize they were doing it. Emma stood there in her stained uniform, champagne drying sticky on her hands, holding a napkin someone had passed her, and wondered what the hell just happened. The answer came 72 hours later when she walked into the Moretti building at 8:45 on Monday morning, dressed in the only professional outfit she owned, a navy blazer she'd found at Goodwill and black pants she'd ironed 3 times to get the creases sharp. The lobby was all gleaming marble and dark wood, the kind of old money elegance that couldn't be bought, only inherited. Emma's reflection looked small and out of place in the polished surfaces. Ms. Clark? A woman in a designer suit appeared at her elbow. Mr. Moretti is expecting you. Please, follow me. They took a private elevator to the top floor. The doors opened directly into an office that probably cost more than Emma's entire apartment building. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooked the bay. The furniture was understated and perfect, and behind a desk of dark mahogany sat Dante Moretti. He looked different in daylight, more real, and somehow more dangerous. Sit! He gestured to one of the leather chairs across from his desk. Emma sat. Her palms were sweating. You're probably wondering why you're here. The thought crossed my mind. A ghost of something that might have been amusement flickered across his face. You have a daughter, Sophia, 7 years old, attends Lincoln Elementary. You work 3 jobs to make rent on a 1-bedroom apartment in the Sunset District. Your car is 15 years old and needs new brakes. You have $11,000 in medical debt from when Sophia had pneumonia last year. Ice slid down Emma's spine. How do you know all that? I make it my business to know things. Dante leaned back in his chair, studying her. What I don't know is who you're afraid of. Emma's breath caught. I'm not... Don't lie to me. His voice remained soft, but there was steel underneath. Friday night, when Whitmore was humiliating you. There was fear in your eyes, yes, but not of him. You looked at the doors twice, checked the crowd. You were afraid someone else was there. Someone specific. He leaned forward, elbows on the desk, and those gray eyes pinned her in place. So I'll ask you again. Who are you afraid of? Emma's mouth had gone dry. She'd been so careful. So very careful for 3 years. I don't know what you're talking about. You're a terrible liar, Emma Clark, if that's even your real name. Dante opened a folder on his desk. You appeared in San Francisco 3 years ago. No previous employment history, no references, no social media presence before that date. Your daughter has no father listed on her birth certificate. You pay cash for everything you can. You don't have a credit card. He looked up. These are the patterns of someone running. Emma's hands were shaking. She pressed them together in her lap. Why do you care? Because I saw your face Friday night, and I recognized something. Dante's expression didn't change, but his voice dropped lower. I know what it looks like when someone is truly afraid. And I know that fear doesn't come from spilling champagne. Silence stretched between them. Emma thought about Sophia, waiting at the neighbor's apartment, about the life they'd built here, small and safe and anonymous, about the past she'd buried so deep she sometimes almost believed it had happened to someone else. "If I tell you," she said slowly, "what do you get out of it?" "Maybe nothing." Dante closed the folder. "Maybe the satisfaction of wiping that fear out of your eyes." "Why would you care about that?" "Because men who frighten women the way you're frightened deserve to be dealt with." He said it like he was commenting on the weather. Simple fact. "And because I have resources you don't." Emma studied him. The expensive suit, the cold eyes, the casual way he'd handled Marcus Whitmore like a minor inconvenience. The office that overlooked a city where his family had been powerful for longer than Emma had been alive. She thought about Sophia asking why they had to move so much, why they couldn't tell anyone Mommy's real name, why they couldn't go visit Grandma even though Sophia missed her. "His name is Derek Ashford," Emma heard herself say. "My ex-husband." Dante's expression didn't change, but something in his stillness sharpened. "We were married when I was 25. He was charming at first, successful, a real estate developer in Chicago. By the time I realized what he really was, what he was capable of, I was already pregnant." Emma's voice sounded distant to her own ears. "He was connected, Mr. Moretti. Not like you. Smaller scale, but connected. He knew judges, police officers, politicians. When I tried to leave the first time, I ended up in the hospital. The second time, I filed for divorce and got full custody. He told me he'd kill me before he let me take his daughter. But you did anyway. I waited until he was out of town on business, took Sophia and drove for 3 days straight, changed our names, started over." Emma met Dante's eyes. "He's been looking for us ever since. I see his men sometimes. Maybe I'm paranoid. Maybe I'm not. But I can't take the risk." "Does he know you're in San Francisco?" "I don't think so. We've moved 4 times in 3 years. This is the longest we've stayed anywhere." Dante was quiet for a long moment, his fingers steepled under his chin. "This job I'm offering you," he said finally. "It's real, personal assistant. $60,000 a year to start, full benefits, health insurance for you and Sophia. But it comes with certain complications." Emma's heart was pounding. "What kind of complications?" "People will notice you. Working for me means visibility. Being seen at certain events, certain places. It means your face in photos occasionally." Dante held her gaze. "It means the opposite of staying hidden." "Then why offer it to me?" "Because hiding hasn't worked. You've been running for 3 years, and you're still afraid, still looking over your shoulder." He stood, moved to the window, his silhouette dark against the bright city beyond. "I'm offering you a different option." "Which is?" "Stop hiding." Dante turned to face her. "Let me put you somewhere visible, somewhere protected, somewhere Derek Ashford can see you if he comes looking, but where he can't touch you." "That's insane. If he finds me, if he finds you, he finds me first." Something dangerous flickered in those gray eyes. "And I promise you, Emma, that won't end well for him." Emma stood, her legs unsteady. "You don't understand. Derek has people, money, influence. You can't just—" "You're right. I don't understand." Dante moved closer, and Emma had to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. "You don't understand who I am, what I'm capable of, what my family has been doing in this city since before your ex-husband was born." He wasn't touching her, but she could feel the heat radiating from him, the coiled violence held perfectly in check. "Derek Ashford is a small-time developer with delusions of importance. I'm offering you my protection, Emma. That's not a small thing." "Why?" The word came out as a whisper. "Why would you do this for a complete stranger?" Dante's jaw tightened. For a moment, Emma thought he wouldn't answer. Then, because I know what it's like to be powerless, and I know what it's like to have power. And I've decided I prefer using mine for something other than profit margins and territory disputes. He stepped back, giving her space to breathe. The job is yours if you want it. Think about it. You have until end of business today to decide. Emma's mind was racing. $60,000 a year. Health insurance. Sophia could have her own room. Emma could stop working 3 jobs, could actually be home for dinner, could stop jumping at shadows. But the cost, the visibility, the risk. What happens if I say no? Nothing. Dante returned to his desk. You walk out that door, and we never speak again. I'll have your final paycheck from Friday's catering job sent to your address. And if I say yes, then you become untouchable. He said it with absolute certainty. In this city, under my protection, no one will dare harm you. Not Derek Ashford. Not anyone. Emma thought about Sophia's face when Emma had to tell her they were moving again. About 3 years of fear. About the future stretching out ahead of them. Endless running, endless hiding. I need to pick up Sophia from school at 3. Dante's expression shifted, something almost like approval. Then I suggest you start learning your new job. Your desk is through that door. My previous assistant left detailed notes. Emma blinked. That's it? I'm hired? Did you think I'd make you beg? A hint of dark amusement colored his voice. You've done enough of that for one lifetime. Welcome to the Moretti Corporation, Emma Clark. Try not to spill anything on my clients. Despite everything, Emma felt her lips twitch. I'll do my best, Mr. Moretti. Dante. He was already turning to his computer, dismissing her. If we're going to work together, you should use my name. Emma nodded and moved toward the door he'd indicated. Her hand was on the handle when his voice stopped her. Emma! She turned. Dante was watching her with those unreadable gray eyes. You're safe now. I need you to believe that. Emma wanted to. God, she wanted to. She just wasn't sure she knew how anymore. The first 2 weeks passed in a blur of learning curves and late nights. Emma discovered that being Dante Moretti's personal assistant meant managing his schedule, screening his calls, attending meetings where millions of dollars changed hands over handshakes, and maintaining absolute discretion about everything she saw and heard. It also meant learning to read Dante's moods. When the line of his shoulders went tight, he needed coffee and silence. When his voice dropped to that particular deadly quiet, someone was about to have a very bad day. When he rubbed the bridge of his nose, he'd been up all night dealing with family business he never elaborated on. Emma was good at her job. She'd spent years reading people, anticipating their needs, making herself useful enough to keep but invisible enough to ignore. Those skills translated perfectly. What she wasn't prepared for was how Dante's world began to wrap around her like armor. On her 3rd day, a sleek black sedan appeared at her apartment building at 7:30 a.m. The driver, a quiet man named Tony with careful eyes, informed her that Mr. Moretti had arranged transportation. When Emma protested, Tony simply said, "Take it up with the boss," and waited patiently until she got in. On day 5, an envelope appeared on her desk containing a benefits package and a health insurance card. Sophia had a dentist appointment scheduled for the following week. The policy was better than anything Emma had ever imagined having. On day 8, Emma's landlord called to say the rent had been paid for the next 6 months. When she stormed into Dante's office, he barely looked up from his paperwork. Consider it a signing bonus. That's not, I can't accept. You can, and you will. Dante's tone left no room for argument. I need you focused on work, not distracted by whether you'll make rent. This is practical, not charity. Paying someone's rent for 6 months is not practical. It's what I decided to do with my money. He finally looked up, and there was a warning in his eyes. Are we going to have a problem, Emma? They stared at each other. Emma felt her independence warring with her practicality. 6 months of rent. Sophia could have her own room. Emma could breathe. No, she said finally. No problem. Good. Close the door on your way out. And tell Rodriguez I'll take his meeting. but not until he agrees to our terms. Emma was learning. Dante Moretti didn't ask for gratitude. He acted, and he expected you to keep up. Week 3 brought a different kind of complication. Emma was reviewing contracts when Dante's office door opened and a man walked in without knocking. He was younger than Dante, maybe 30, with the same dark hair and that particular Moretti. Confidence that bent the room around them. "Dante, we need to talk about the shipment that—" He stopped when he saw Emma. "Who's this?" "My assistant. Emma, this is my brother, Marco." Marco Moretti looked Emma up and down with the kind of assessment that made her skin crawl. "Pretty. You always did have excellent taste. Careful." Dante's voice went cold. "She works for me." Something passed between the brothers. Some silent communication Emma couldn't parse. Marco raised his hands in mock surrender. "Just making an observation. Don't worry, Emma. I don't poach my brother's staff." He turned back to Dante. "The Portland situation?" "My office. Now." Dante stood, buttoned his suit jacket. "Emma, hold all my calls for the next hour." She nodded, and the brothers disappeared into Dante's office. The door closed, but not before Emma heard Marco say, "You're playing a dangerous game, bringing someone new in right now." The rest was lost behind heavy oak. Emma tried not to think about what dangerous game meant. Tried not to notice the security guards who appeared on her floor. Tried not to see the way men in expensive suits deferred to Dante with the kind of respect that came from fear as much as admiration. She was mostly successful until the night she worked late finishing a presentation for Dante's morning meeting. It was past 10 when she finally saved the file and stretched. The office was empty except for security downstairs. Emma gathered her things, locked her desk, and was heading for the elevator when she heard voices from Dante's office. The door was cracked open, light spilling into the dark hallway. "Can't keep protecting her if she doesn't know what she's stepped into." That was Marco's voice, sharp with frustration. "She doesn't need to know." Dante sounded tired. "The less she knows, the safer she is." "The Calabrese family is asking questions. They know she's close to you now. That makes her leverage. Let them ask. Anyone who touches her signs their own death warrant." Silence. Then Marco, quieter. "You care about her." "I care about keeping innocent people out of our business." "Dante, brother, I know you. This is different." Emma's heart was pounding so loud she was sure they could hear it. She should leave, should walk away, should not be hearing this. "Whether it is or isn't doesn't matter." Dante's chair creaked. "Emma Clark stays under my protection. That's not negotiable. Pass the word to anyone who needs to hear it." "And when Derek Ashford makes his move?" Emma went cold. "Then I'll handle it." "You've already put people on him?" "The moment Emma told me his name." Dante's voice dropped to that dangerous quiet Emma had learned to recognize. "He's being watched. Every move, every phone call, every meeting. When he comes for her, and he will, I'll know before he crosses the state line." "This could start a war, Dante. Ashford has Chicago connections. The outfit doesn't take kindly to West Coast families interfering. Then the outfit can take it up with me directly." Steel in every word. "I'm not asking for permission, Marco. I'm telling you how this is going to be." Emma backed away from the door, her pulse hammering in her throat. She made it to the elevator, made it down to the lobby, made it into the back seat of the car Tony had waiting, all on autopilot. "You okay, Ms. Clark?" Tony's eyes found hers in the rearview mirror. "Fine, just tired." He nodded, but Emma saw his gaze flick to the rearview again, checking the street behind them. Always watching, always alert. Emma suddenly understood that the sedan, the paid rent, the health insurance, they weren't kindness. They were strategy. Ways to bind her close, keep her visible, make her one of Dante's people. Make her protected, yes, but also make her his. The question that kept Emma awake that night, staring at the ceiling of her new 2-bedroom apartment while Sophia slept safely in the next room, was whether she minded. The answer came 4 days later when Derek found her anyway. Emma was leaving the Moretti building at 6 p.m., later than usual because Dante had meetings that ran long. Tony was waiting by the car as always, but Emma had stopped at the coffee shop on the corner, the one that made Sophia's favorite hot chocolate. She was waiting for her order when she felt it. That familiar, ice-down-her-spine sensation. The prey animal awareness of being watched. Emma turned slowly. Derek Ashford sat at a corner table, looking exactly as she remembered. Handsome in that clean-cut, all-American way. Expensive watch. Perfect smile. Dead eyes. Hello, Grace. He used her old name like a weapon. It's been a long time. Emma's hands went numb. The coffee shop suddenly felt too small, too crowded. She looked toward the door, calculating distances, escape routes. Don't! Derek's voice remained pleasant, conversational. We're just talking. Two old friends catching up. You don't want to make a scene, do you? How did you find me? Please, you might have changed your name, changed your hair, but you can't hide forever. Derek leaned back, utterly relaxed. Did you really think I'd let you take my daughter? Sophia isn't your daughter anymore. I have full custody. The court was wrong. Something flickered behind Derek's pleasant expression. You poisoned them against me, made me look like a monster. But I've been patient, Grace. I've been watching, learning. And now, he smiled. Now you've made a very interesting new friend. Emma's blood went cold. Leave Dante out of this. Oh, I don't think I will. See, Dante Moretti is exactly the kind of complication that makes this situation interesting. You think he's protecting you? Derek laughed softly. He's using you. That's what men like him do. And when he's done, when he gets bored, or when you become more trouble than you're worth, where will you be? Order for Emma, the barista called. Emma didn't move. Go ahead. Derek gestured toward the counter. Get your coffee, your little hot chocolate for our daughter. But understand this, Grace, I'm done waiting. I'm done being patient. You have until Friday to bring Sophia back to Chicago. If you don't, he pulled out his phone, showed her a photo of Sophia's school. Well, you've always been smart. I'm sure you can imagine the alternatives. Emma's vision tunneled. Her hands were shaking so badly she could barely grab the coffee and hot chocolate from the counter. She walked out of the shop on legs that didn't feel like her own. Tony took one look at her face and had his hand on his gun. Ms. Clark? I need to see Dante. Emma's voice came from very far away. Right now. Tony didn't ask questions. He made a phone call, sharp and quick, while bundling Emma into the back seat. Then they were moving, faster than usual, Tony's eyes constantly checking the mirrors. Emma clutched Sophia's hot chocolate and tried to remember how to breathe. Dante was waiting when they pulled up to the building. He took in Emma's face, her shaking hands, and something cold and final settled into his expression. Where? He asked. Coffee shop, corner of 5th and Market. Dante turned to Tony. Ashford? That'd be my guess, boss. Want me to... Not yet. Dante's hand settled on Emma's lower back, guiding her inside. Come on. He brought her up to his office, sat her down, and poured her a whiskey from the bar in the corner. Emma didn't normally drink, but she downed it in one burning swallow. Tell me everything, Dante said, so Emma did. Every word, every threat. The photo of Sophia's school. When she finished, Dante was silent for a long moment. Then he pulled out his phone. Marco, Ashford's in San Francisco. Pause. Yes, I'm sure. Coffee shop on 5th. Pull the security footage. I want a full workup on every person he's met with in the last week. Another pause. No, he doesn't leave the city. I want eyes on him every second until I decide what to do. He hung up. Dante, he said... I heard what he said. Dante crouched in front of Emma's chair, bringing them eye to eye. Listen to me very carefully. Derek Ashford is not taking Sophia. He's not taking you. He's not coming near either of you ever again. You don't understand. He has people. He'll... Emma. Dante's hands settled on her knees, warm and solid and real. "Look at me." She did. "I made you a promise. You're under my protection. That means something. It means when men like Derek Ashford threaten what's mine, they face me." His gray eyes held hers, absolutely certain. "Do you trust me?" Emma thought about the last month, the careful way Dante had woven safety around her, the sedan, the paid rent, the security, the absolute authority in his voice when he said she was protected. "Yes," she whispered. "Good." Dante stood, pulled out his phone again. "Where's Sophia right now?" "With Mrs. Chen, my neighbor. Call her. Tell her you'll be late. A man named Vincent will arrive in 20 minutes to stay with them until you get home. He works for me. He's trustworthy. Dante, I can't ask you to..." "You're not asking. I'm telling you how this is going to be." He was already typing something on his phone. "You and Sophia are moving tonight. I have a property in Pacific Heights. Gated. Security. Marco's wife, Gianna, is there with their daughters. You'll be safe." Emma's mind was spinning. "I can't just uproot Sophia again. She's finally settled. She has friends at school. And she'll keep going to the same school. Vincent will drive her. The house is 20 minutes from Lincoln Elementary." Dante's expression softened, just slightly. "I'm not taking anything from you, Emma. I'm giving you something better than running." "What about Derek?" "Let me worry about Derek Ashford." There was something in the way he said it. Something that made Emma think of the overheard conversation with Marco. The casual references to handling problems. The way people looked at Dante, with respect and fear in equal measure. "What are you going to do to him?" Dante studied her for a long moment. "What do you want me to do to him?" Emma thought about 3 years of running, about Sophia asking why they couldn't stay anywhere long enough to make real friends, about the bruises she'd hidden under long sleeves during her marriage, about Derek's smile when he showed her that photo of Sophia's school. "I want him to stop," she said quietly. "I want him to never find us again. I want him to forget we exist. Consider it done." "I mean it, Dante. I don't want..." Emma swallowed. "I don't want his blood on my conscience." "Emma." Dante tilted her chin up with one finger. "Look at me and listen very carefully. What happens to Derek Ashford is not on your conscience. It's not your responsibility. It's not your choice. It's mine." His thumb brushed her jaw, gentle despite the steel in his voice. "You've spent 3 years protecting your daughter from a monster. You've done your part. Now let me do mine." Emma felt something crack open in her chest. Relief, maybe? Or surrender. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay." Dante stepped back, all business again. "Call Mrs. Chen. Pack bags for you and Sophia. Just tonight's necessities. Everything else will be moved tomorrow. I'll take you to the house myself." "You don't have to." "Emma." He looked at her. "Stop arguing. You're safe now. Let yourself believe it." So she did. The house in Pacific Heights was beautiful in that understated old money way that spoke of generations of wealth. High ceilings, hardwood floors, a garden in the back where Dante's nieces were playing under the watchful eye of a man who definitely wasn't a nanny. Gianna Moretti was warm and welcoming, her Italian accent more pronounced than Dante's. She took one look at Emma's face and pulled her into a hug that smelled like lavender and home. "You're safe here," Gianna said firmly. "This is a good place. My girls, they will love Sophia. Come, I show you your rooms." Sophia emerged from her shells like a flower opening to sunlight. Within an hour, she was playing with Dante's nieces, Isabella, 8, and Luna, 6, like they'd known each other forever. Emma watched from the kitchen window while Gianna made tea and talked about nothing important in that specific way that let Emma's heart rate finally slow. "He cares about you," Gianna said suddenly. Emma turned. "What?" "Dante." Gianna's smile was knowing. "I've known him since he was 19. Wild and angry and dangerous. Marco is my husband, yes, but Dante is special, and he doesn't bring women here, not ever. This house, it's for family. I'm just his assistant. He's helping me because you need help, yes, but also because when Dante looks at you, I see something I haven't seen in years. Gianna poured tea into delicate cups. Hope, maybe, or possibility. He's a good man, Emma. Don't let the rest fool you. The rest? Gianna's expression turned serious. What my husband's family does, what Dante is, the darkness he carries. It's real, yes. But so is the light. So is his loyalty, his protection. When Dante Moretti claims someone as his, he means it absolutely. Emma thought about sitting in Dante's office, his hands on her knees, his promise that Derek would never touch them again. I'm afraid, Emma admitted. Of Dante? Of believing this is real, that someone actually wants to protect me instead of control me. Gianna reached across the table, squeezed Emma's hand. Dante is not Derek Ashford. The control, yes, sometimes he needs it. But never to hurt, only to protect. You'll see. That night, after Sophia was asleep in a room 3 times the size of their old apartment, Emma found Dante in the study. He was on the phone, speaking rapid Italian, his tone clipped and dangerous. When he saw Emma, he switched to English. Handle it. I'll check in tomorrow. He hung up. Everything okay? Sophia settling in? She's asleep. Gianna's girls wore her out. Emma closed the door behind her. Can I ask you something? Always. Derek, what's going to happen to him? Dante gestured to the chair across from his desk. Emma sat. Derek Ashford flew into San Francisco 2 days ago, Dante said. He's been here before, twice in the last 3 months. Each time he got a little closer. This time, he found you. That ends now. How? Tomorrow morning, Derek will have a conversation with some business associates. They'll explain that his interests in California are no longer welcome, that his presence here puts him in conflict with certain parties who don't appreciate his methods. Dante's expression was carefully neutral. He'll be encouraged to return to Chicago and forget you exist. And if he doesn't, then the encouragement becomes more persuasive. Emma studied Dante's face, looking for regret or hesitation. She found neither. You've done this before, she said. It wasn't a question. Yes. Protected people. When necessary. Dante leaned back in his chair. My family's business isn't always clean, Emma. I won't pretend otherwise. But it's not all darkness either. Sometimes we protect. Sometimes we correct imbalances. Sometimes we handle problems the law can't or won't touch. Like Derek. Dante's gaze held hers. Does this change things? Knowing what I am? Emma thought about it. Really thought about it. About Derek's dead eyes and pleasant smile. About 3 years of running. About the bruises. About Sophia, safe and happy in the next room. No, she said finally. It doesn't. Something shifted in Dante's expression. Relief, maybe. Or recognition. Good. He stood. It's late. You should get some rest. Tomorrow will be busy. I'm having your things moved, and you'll need to enroll Sophia in a new after-school program. One with better security. Emma stood too, but didn't move toward the door. Dante? Yes? Thank you. The words felt inadequate for what she was trying to express. For all of this. For believing me. For... Emma. Dante crossed the distance between them, and suddenly they were standing close enough that Emma could smell his cologne, see the slight shadow of stubble on his jaw. You don't have to thank me for basic human decency. This is more than decency. This is what you deserve. His hand came up, traced her cheek with surprising gentleness. Safety, respect, protection. These are not gifts, Emma. They're your right. Ashford stole them from you. I'm simply returning what was always yours. Emma felt tears prick her eyes. I don't know how to do this. How to let someone help without wondering what they want in return. I want you safe. Dante's thumb brushed away a tear that had escaped. I want Sophia happy. I want you to stop looking over your shoulder. That's all. That's not all, Emma whispered. Gianna said, my sister-in-law talks too much. She said you don't bring people here, that this house is for family. Dante's jaw tightened. Emma, what am I to you? The question came out before Emma could stop it. Really? Silence stretched between them. Dante's hand was still on her face, warm and steady. I don't know, he said finally. I just know that when I saw you in that ballroom, afraid and brave, and refusing to break even when that bastard was humiliating you, something in me recognized something in you. And when you told me about Derek, about what you'd survived, what you'd done to protect Sophia... He stopped, started again. You're stronger than you know, Emma Clark. And I've decided I'd like to see what you become when you're not running. When you're safe. When you're free. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. Dante's hand dropped. Ask me again in a month. When Derek is gone, and you're settled, and you've had time to think clearly. If you still want to know, I'll tell you. Emma nodded. It was fair. More than fair. She was at the door when Dante's voice stopped her. Emma, one more thing. She turned. I saw the fear in your eyes, and I decided it had to go. Whatever it takes, however long. Your fear ends now. Understand? Emma felt something warm unfurl in her chest. I'm starting to. Derek Ashford disappeared from San Francisco 36 hours later. Emma didn't know the details, didn't ask. She just knew that on Wednesday morning, Dante walked into the office and said, It's handled. He's gone. He won't be back. How can you be sure? Because men like Derek Ashford understand one language, power. And I showed him very clearly that his power ends where mine begins. Dante set a folder on her desk. That's the paperwork transferring Sophia's school records. She starts at Presidio Academy next week. Better security, better programs, and my nieces go there. She'll have friends. Emma opened the folder with shaking hands. Presidio Academy, one of the best private schools in San Francisco. I can't afford... It's covered, part of your benefits package. Dante's tone made it clear this wasn't up for discussion. Sophia deserves the best. So do you. Stop arguing about every kindness, Emma. It's exhausting. Despite everything, Emma laughed. I'm sorry I'm such a difficult rescue. You're not a rescue. Dante's expression softened. You're an investment. I'm very particular about my investments. The days that followed settled into a new rhythm. Emma and Sophia stayed in the Pacific Heights house, which stopped feeling like a borrowed space and started feeling like home. Sophia bloomed at Presidio Academy, coming home each day with stories about her classes, her friends, her life. Emma's job evolved too. She was still Dante's assistant, but now she attended higher-level meetings, gave input on decisions, learned the subtle language of the Moretti family business, the legitimate parts and the parts that existed in the shadows between legal and not. She learned that Dante's shipping empire moved more than just cargo, that his real estate holdings weren't all on the books, that when he said he'd handle something, it meant a conversation she'd never hear, and an outcome that always went his way. She also learned that Dante was unfailingly kind to his nieces, that he called his mother in Italy every Sunday, that he played piano when he thought no one was listening. Chopin, mostly, sad and beautiful. She learned the sound of his laugh, the way his shoulders relaxed when she brought him coffee exactly right, the way he looked at her sometimes when he thought she wasn't watching. A month passed, then 2. Derek Ashford stayed gone. Emma stopped checking over her shoulder quite so much, and slowly, carefully, Emma let herself start living instead of surviving. The shift happened on a Friday night in November. Marco and Gianna were hosting dinner at the house. Just family, Gianna had insisted, which apparently now included Emma and Sophia. Emma had tried to decline, but Gianna wouldn't hear it. So Emma found herself in a beautiful dining room, surrounded by Morettis, watching Sophia giggle with Isabella and Luna while the adults shared wine and conversation. "You look different," Marco observed, studying Emma with those sharp Moretti eyes. "Less haunted." "Marco," Gianna scolded, but Emma smiled. "I feel different. Lighter, maybe." "That's what safety does," Dante said quietly. He was sitting across from her, and Emma felt his gaze like a touch. "You finally believe it." "I'm starting to." After dinner, while the girls played in the garden and Gianna and Marco argued good-naturedly about something in Italian, Dante found Emma on the terrace. "You said I could ask again," Emma said. "In a month, when Derek was gone and I was settled." "I remember. It's been 2 months. I'm aware." Emma turned to face him, the city lights spread out below them, golden and infinite. "What am I to you, Dante Moretti?" He was quiet for a long moment. Then, "Do you remember what I said that first night? In the ballroom?" "You said a lot of things." "I said you belonged in that room. Not serving, just being." Dante stepped closer. "I meant it. You're remarkable, Emma. Strong and smart and braver than anyone gives you credit for. You survived Derek Ashford. You protected your daughter. You built a life from nothing. And now," he reached out, tucked a strand of hair behind her ear, "now you're building something better. And I want to be part of that." Emma's heart was pounding. "Part of it how?" "However you'll let me." His hand lingered on her jaw. "I'm not a good man, Emma. My business, my family, the things I've done, they're not pretty. But with you, I want to try to be better. I want to protect you, yes. But more than that, I want to know you. The real you, not the woman running scared. I want to see you smile without checking the exits first. I want Sophia to have a life where she doesn't have to change her name. I want..." He stopped, searching for words. "I want this. Whatever this is between us. If you want it too." "I'm afraid," Emma admitted, "of trusting this. Of believing someone actually wants me, and not just control over me. I know." Dante's thumb traced her cheekbone. "So let me prove it. Let me show you what it looks like when someone chooses you because of who you are, not despite it. When someone protects you because you matter, not because you're owned. And if Derek comes back?" "He won't. But if he does, he'll have to go through me first. And Emma?" Dante's eyes were steady, certain, absolute. "No one goes through me." Emma believed him. "Okay," she whispered. "Okay? Okay, let's try this. Whatever this is." Dante's smile was slow and genuine and more beautiful than Emma had ever seen him. "Whatever this is," he agreed. And then he kissed her. It was soft at first, careful, asking permission with every movement. Emma's hands found his chest, felt his heart hammering beneath her palms. Dante's arms came around her, solid and sure, and Emma let herself lean into it. Into him. Into the promise of safety, and something more. When they broke apart, Dante rested his forehead against hers. "I've wanted to do that since the moment I saw you standing in broken glass, refusing to break." Emma laughed, breathless. "That's a very Dante Moretti thing to say. Get used to it. I'm fairly dramatic." "I've noticed." They stood there, wrapped up in each other, while the city glittered below, and Emma's daughter laughed in the garden, and the future opened up like a door Emma had been too afraid to walk through. "Emma?" Dante's voice was serious again. "Yes? You're mine now. I need you to understand what that means. It means my protection. Yes. My resources. My name, if you want it someday. But it also means you're choosing me. All of me. The business, the family, the darkness and the light. Can you do that?" Emma thought about it. really thought, about the man who'd stepped between her and humiliation, who'd paid her rent without asking for gratitude, who'd moved heaven and earth to keep her daughter safe, who played Chopin when he thought no one was listening and called his mother every Sunday and looked at Emma like she hung the stars. "Yes," she said, "I can do that." "Good." Dante kissed her again, deeper this time. "Because you're stuck with me now, Emma Clark. I don't let go of what's mine. Promise. Promise." From the garden, Sophia's laughter rang out, pure and joyful. Emma turned to look, saw her daughter playing without fear, without shadows, without the weight of running heavy on her small shoulders. "Thank you," Emma whispered. "For what?" "For seeing me, for stopping, for caring." Dante's arms tightened around her. "Always," he said simply. "From the moment I saw the fear in your eyes and decided it had to go. I've been yours, Emma. You just needed time to catch up." Emma leaned into him, watched her daughter play, and let herself finally, completely, believe in safety, believe in home, believe in whatever this was becoming. 12 men went missing from Derek Ashford's organization over the following weeks. His business partners in Chicago received very clear messages about the cost of harassing women under Moretti protection. His assets, carefully hidden, were suddenly not so hidden anymore. Emma never asked for details. She didn't need to. She just knew that Derek Ashford's shadow disappeared from her life completely. And in its place, Dante Moretti's protection wrapped around her and Sophia like armor made of starlight and old promises, and the absolute certainty that some monsters got destroyed by bigger monsters who chose to be heroes instead. 6 months later, Dante proposed in the same garden where Sophia played with his nieces, with a ring that caught the light like captured fire. Emma said yes without checking the exits first, without running, without fear, because she finally understood. She'd stopped being a woman running from danger and become a woman protected by it instead. And in Dante Moretti's world, that made all the difference.